WEMB Sports Radio.
Well, I gotta apologize to you folks. This is Marky Billson, your voice of choice for a new generation of Tri-Cities sports fans. You know what the name of the program is. It's Tri-Cities Sports Now. And we own the Tri-Cities, the best guests, the hardest-hitting opinions, and even the best prizes in the market. For instance, go to the 1420 WEMB Sports Radio Facebook page, where we are just beneath. We are almost at it, but we are not quite there, but we are almost at it, where we are going to have 1,600 likes. We've got more than that followers already, but I think as of last night, I didn't check it this morning, but last night it was 1,592 likes. Now that's far beneath WFAN's. I mean, I get that. But it is the most liked and followed sports radio station, 1420 WEMB Sports Radio in the market. There you go. By the way, one thing Matt Pauley is, oh no, it's only 4.5 games in first place for the Atlanta Braves. You know, that Burlington Royals victory did knock the E-Twins out of first place in their division. So let's, consider here, of course, then again, what difference does it make if you finish first or second in the Appalachian League, considering the playoff hunt? You get a home game. Wow. But I'll tell you this much. Also, want to thank everybody involved. We have been nominated Best Sports Talk Show in the Market with Johnson City Press. And yours truly, Marky Billson, Best Sports Personality. I want you to go to the Johnson City Press website and vote for, yes, me, your favorite sports talk show host. Oh, I hope. And as a result, you want to be able to do that and, validate your own tastes, if you will. It'll help us certainly a lot, but it'll validate your tastes as well, that you want hard-hitting sports talk. You want an interviewer that asks the tough questions. You don't want someone talking to the interview subject about their golf game or playing paintball or whatever the softball might be. Hey, look, you know why we weren't named or nominated the sports talk show host of the area? Sports talk show of the area? I'll be able to say it grammatically correct in just a second. Why we were able to say that we were nominated for Best Sports Talk Show in the Market? You know what? Well, it wasn't because of the world's slowest computer, which is just now working. See, it's called extreme sports music. They even listed as angry. Do you think this is angry? I don't think that's angry. That's just me. This is known as happy. Let's see what happy is. Frankly, I don't get why that is happy and the other is angry. This is called playful. All right, I see that. Enough with the bumper music. On today's show, 12:30 Asian House Vols Talk with Caleb Calhoun of allfortennessee.com. Looking forward to that. It's that happy time, kind of a lull time for Tennessee football. They're going to begin their practice on Friday. Already, allfortennessee.com, Fansided Network, they're talking about, okay, here are the storylines and all this. I'm seeing a lot of people saying Vols improved. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing a lot of Vols improved to the point where we are ranking positional units among the best in the conference. Maybe secondary. All this talk about Jared Guarantano. Here's the thing. All right, he did real well under pressure. Maybe it was the pressure that caused him to fail. I'll buy that. Hey, But, question for you. Why do you think the Vols' offensive line will be significantly improved? Therein lies the rub. I've been saying all along, Jared Guarantano will sink and swim based on him. Of course, what football team doesn't sink or swim based on their quarterback? That's not exactly, earth-shattering information. I once heard somebody say, this team will sink or swim behind their right guard. Don't ask who it was. Don't ask the team. Just know that it's, really? More than the quarterback. More than the pass rush you'll get. But that's one of the things that allfortennessee.com is looking at today, the defensive line of the Vols, which maybe isn't quite as good as you might think it would be. Anyway, not the only Vols news around basketball. It seems like, it's Tennessee a basketball school now. And former coach Donnie Tyndall, it looks like he's going to be the new head coach of the Grand Rapids Drive. That's the Detroit Pistons G League team, if you didn't know. And so it makes me wonder about the concept of probation. Okay, the concept of probation. We talked about, I've written Saturday Down South, for instance, just how antiquated some probation is. No one's got the death penalty in more than 30 years. No one's gotten the TV ban since 95. Of course, it just seems like you'd, be chopping off your own nose to spite your face now, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. But what Tyndall does have now is a 10-year show cause penalty that won't expire until 2016. So it effectively keeps him from coaching in the college ranks until the middle of the next decade. Now, if you talk to Tyndall, he will tell you that he's innocent of the charges. Maybe he is. The charges are he paid players with cash and credit cards, that the NCAA took the word of a former grad assistant and gave him the severe punishment. There's no real proof. That's what Tyndall will say. Maybe he's right, maybe he isn't. I haven't done an investigation. But the question that I want to ask is not so much an indictment of Tyndall, but it's to ask this. Look, coach goes rogue. It happens, right? Why do we punish the player? Now think about this, okay? Let's say that hotshot Carlton goes to State U. And he's got the best of intentions. And he didn't accept any payments. And he just went to class and, he was getting a 3.7 in anthropology, for crying out loud. But Coach Slime is caught cheating somehow. And he's fired. All right. Well, And then he's told he can't work in the NCAA for a while. That makes sense, too. But then why is hotshot Carlton punished by saying, and you won't be able to play in the NCAA tournament next year? Now, I do think that, we're taking away Louisville's national championship. I've thought that is ridiculous. If somebody won it, look, really, this is, vacating victories. And you vacate those victories, but you don't vacate Penn State's for the world's worst crime. We did originally, but then the governor got involved, and, it's ridiculous. What I'm asking is, if you're punishing hotshot Carlton, who had nothing to do with the scandal at State U, that cost the coach his job, that gave him a show cause penalty, but you put the program on probation, and you can't make a postseason tournament, aren't you penalizing hotshot Carlton? Aren't you punishing the innocent? Now, I realize that most college sports scandals aren't that cut and dry. How do we know hotshot Carlton didn't have his mitts dirty in the process? Well, I guess you never quite know, but guilt by association is what you're practicing there. All I'm asking is, shouldn't there be another way? And unfortunately, I don't have, better way. Taken out and shot? No. But the concept of probation, we can also say, well, hotshot Carlton, he could transfer and he won't even have to sit out a year. Okay. But what about the anthropology studies? Because over here, our rival Tech wants to get him, but they don't have an anthropology department. Now, if he transfers there, doesn't that just make a mockery of student-athlete? I think it does, and you do too. And maybe hotshot Carlton always wanted to play at the school on probation, Now his dream's shattered. He has no path to a championship. And, what are his options? Besides, our rival Tech wasn't located where he originally wanted to be in the first place. And, look, I do understand why sometimes the institution is punished. Lack of institutional control would seem to say the institution must be punished and not just the coach. I get that. Southern Methodist, 30-odd years ago. Board of directors, governor sitting on it. And they're saying, yes, pay the players. Well, you can fire Bobby Collins and say you'll never coach again, but what are you really going to... You've got to put the team on probation, death penalty, or whatever at that time. It's out of control. It needs to be halted. I do remember the SMU scandal. Everybody transferred to another school except three players did not. 3 players continued to complete their degree at SMU. 3. So that should tell you about how many people were there to be student athletes and how many people were there to be football players. You could argue the same thing with Penn State much more recently. Do you realize their president, Graham Spanier, has had his conviction for endangering the welfare of children overturned? He basically appealed it enough times that he found a sympathetic judge. Oh, it's too far beyond the, you were, punished here ex post facto. I'm throwing this out. Athletic director served some jail time, 2 months. So, now, but I can argue there, okay, that the Penn State players who stayed, for Bill O'Brien after the scandal went down weren't necessarily punished. Here's where I believe that. Bowl games are commonly skipped by players in this day and age. I mean, hey, you get to go to Nashville in December, but I like hip-hop. Well, so, you get to get beat up for another time. I mean, it's like, So you see players, seniors especially, skip them left and right. Fewer scholarships mean a better chance for the players who stayed to start. Let's not forget that. And frankly, I don't think that Penn State was going to compete for a national title in, 2012, 2013? So therein lies the rub. The sanctions against Penn State in the Sandusky scandal were drastically reduced. Supposedly, initially it was supposed to be for 4 years. Bunch more, scholarships, all this. But Donnie Tyndall, his scandal, which he says he's innocent of, you just have the word of a former graduate assistant. He hasn't coached there since 2014. But the Golden Eagles, they're still on probation. Oh, what's that line, Jerry Tarkanian? I mean, he's a guy you would think that they invented the show cause for. But Jerry Tarkanian, he once had that great line. The NCAA is so mad at Kentucky, it'll probably slap another 2 years probation on Cleveland State. Tarkanian's point is proven, again, when you look at, how the NCAA treated Penn State. How did they treat Southern Mississippi? How did they treat SMU, for that matter? And what is worse? Clinchfield. Hold off there. Okay, but Tarkanian's point is proven. What's worth the allegations of an under-the-table payment or child molestation? You know what's worse. Even with Tyndall, though, is he really punished? Now, I realize that the Grand Rapids Drive are not going to pay him what the Tennessee Volunteers would. Okay, I realize that. And even his show cause penalty, but his show cause penalty has allowed him to now probably coach a higher level of basketball player than he would have had at Tennessee. He may be coaching Jordan Bone. That's what the big news is now. Well, Jordan Bone is now going to be a year bigger and stronger. And, he's in that gray area between the SEC or major college basketball and the NBA. Well, that is a step up from the SEC, folks. It's a step up from the NCAA. So Tyndall is coaching higher caliber players. Now, again, no, he's not as well compensated. I don't have his salary, but G League coaches don't make what major college coaches make, okay? But 6 G League head coaches have gone on to become NBA head coaches. And Donnie Tyndall's only 49 years old. So what this show cause that lasts until the middle of the next decade, I believe 2026, what it could ultimately mean is, cheating up, if you will, if he's guilty. NCAA thinks he is, he says he isn't, he could use that show cause for the ultimate career advancement, becoming an NBA head coach. That's not beyond the realm of possibility. NCAA is becoming increasingly powerless to stop corruption. But is it because their system of punishment is flawed? And I've just made a good statement in a case that it is, but why is it flawed? Maybe they realize that severe punishment, that might be what breaks up their organization, causes the major conferences to break away. Let's have our own rules. Let's have our own TV contracts. Let's have our own revenue stream. We don't need them. And I think that we are going to get increasingly into the point where that's going to happen. I don't know when. We talked on the show, I told you about how it is now believed that the college football playoff, the smart money says it will expand, but it'll expand in 2026, because the Big Ten wants it to, basically. They're not getting teams in, so they want it to, Well, the Big Ten has always been the most influential conference in that matter, so they'll probably get their way. But what if the Big Ten decides, hey, you know what else? SEC, come with us. ACC, come with us. Come on, Pac-12, Let's do this thing. Tri-City Sports Now. We'll be back again. Caleb Calhoun of allfortennessee.com. We're going to talk the Vols at the bottom of the hour. Until then, some more college sports news and conversation after this.
It will when you read.